Ever found yourself needing to track down a legal precedent, verify someone's personal background, or just figure out how a local lawsuit actually ended? Well, you are absolutely in the right place. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are handing you the complete, step-by-step blueprint for navigating the court records of Minnesota's busiest judicial district. Let's start by picturing a pretty common scenario. Let's say you need to look up a court case to run a quick background check, or maybe you're trying to trace the history of a messy local property dispute. Approaching this massive legal system from the outside can feel like stepping into a giant maze, right? There are all these different databases, super specific rules about what's actually public, and you've got to know the difference between physical and digital records. But hey, don't worry. We're going to break this whole thing down so you can find exactly what you're looking for. So here is our game plan for today. We're going to cover 1, why we search these records, 2, accessing them online, 3, interpreting all that legal data, 4, when you actually need to visit the courthouse, 5, overcoming common roadblocks, and 6, the legal rules and resources you absolutely need to know. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Why Search Records, the Foundation of Public Access. What is truly staggering about Hennepin County's 4th Judicial District is just its sheer, massive scale. I mean, think about this. Serving over 1 million people across 45 different cities, including Minneapolis, this single district processes roughly 40% of all cases filed in the entire state of Minnesota. Because it's so incredibly dense, the system is highly specialized, broken out into totally separate divisions for civil, criminal, family, housing, probate, and juvenile cases. And with that immense volume comes a massive constant demand for public access. Literally every single day, you've got journalists researching legal precedents, employers verifying applicant histories, and everyday citizens confirming court orders or just running routine background checks. This system really is the beating heart of local transparency. Now, here is the absolute best part. You are legally empowered to do all of this research. Minnesota operates under its own specific judicial rules, which are actually totally separate from general state agencies. The judiciary's Rule 4 grants a strong constitutional presumption of openness to these public filings. Essentially, what that means is, unless a very specific law says a document is private, you have the absolute right to see it. Okay, moving right along to Section 2, Accessing Records Online, the digital front door. So your primary tool here is going to be MCRO. That stands for Minnesota Court Records Online. It's basically the public-facing version of the state's internal system, MCIS. And what's kind of fascinating about MCRO is that it was built entirely in-house by the judicial branch's IT team after a commercial vendor just couldn't deliver the custom build they needed. And even better, after some bipartisan pushback in the state legislature against a proposal to charge fees, using MCRO to search, view, and download uncertified public records is completely 100% free. And the process itself, super straightforward. Just navigate over to the MCRO portal and select your search type. A specific case number is always going to be your fastest route, but you can also search by party name, the attorney, or even a citation number. Seriously, it's going to be your best friend for checking up on recent civil lawsuits, probate filings, or just getting general case statuses, all without ever leaving your couch. Now let's dive into Section 3, Interpreting Case Information, Making Sense of the Data. All right, so you hit search and a case pulls up. What you're looking at now is called the Register of Actions, or the ROA. Think of the ROA like a chronological diary of the entire case. It lists every single document filed, every hearing held, and every order signed, all using these specific event codes. But hey, be really careful here. The initial case type or the original charges listed might sound super severe, like a felony, but that isn't necessarily the final outcome. To find out what actually happened, you have to read all the way through the detailed info in the ROA to find the final legal disposition or sentence. Which brings us to Section 4, Visiting the Courthouse, when digital isn't enough. Sometimes you literally just have to go in person. To view complete physical files or to get official certified copies of documents, you have to visit the Centralized Record Center. Now, due to some recent consolidations, they actually closed down the old Family Justice Center. You'll need to head over to the Hennepin County Government Center right in downtown Minneapolis. Specifically, you want room A260, which is located up on the skyway level of the administration tower. Definitely make a note of that room number. It is your main hub for all 4th Judicial District case files. Let's talk logistics for a second, specifically the costs, because these are set by a very strict statutory fee schedule. If you use the public terminals at the courthouse, printing plain, uncertified copies costs absolutely nothing, $0. But if you need a legally recognized certified copy, and you'll often need these for things like employment verification, immigration, or proving a divorce, that's going to cost you a flat $14 per document, payable directly to the district court administrator. All right, Section 5, Overcoming Search Challenges, Navigating System Restrictions. You are definitely going to hit some roadblocks while searching, and here is why. The state restricts remote access to certain sensitive data to prevent it from being indexed all over the internet. For example, pre-conviction criminal cases, harassment restraining orders, and domestic abuse cases, those are completely blocked on MCRO if you're searching from home. But if you physically walk into the courthouse and use their free MNPAC terminals, those exact same files suddenly become legally available to view. The system is intentionally designed to force you to show up in person if you want to see that sensitive stuff. That being said, there are some case types that are just a hard no, totally restricted from public view everywhere, no matter where you are. This is to protect vulnerable people, so it includes adoptions, child protection cases, and juvenile delinquency files. It also covers legally expunged records. Plus, under Rule 11, if a lawyer or party accidentally files a document that leaves a social security number or a full bank account number exposed, the court officially strikes it, meaning it becomes permanently inaccessible to the public. Okay, last but not least, Section 6, Legal Rules and Resources, broadening your search. So what if you've done everything right and the record just isn't in the Hennepin County District Court system? Well, you might just be looking in the wrong place. If you need a formal, statewide, fingerprint-verified criminal history, you actually need the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, or the BCA. Searching for a birth, death, or marriage certificate? Head over to the Hennepin County Vital Records Office, not the courts. And if you happen to be looking for federal lawsuits or bankruptcies, those are handled over at the Diana E. Murphy U.S. Courthouse, and you can search them online using the Federal Pacer system, which runs about 10 cents a page. Before we wrap this up, let's do a quick reality check on the rules of the road. The online data you pull up on MCRO is provided as a public service, but it is not the official certified court record. The judicial branch explicitly does not guarantee remote data accuracy, simply because of issues like aliases or people having identical names. Furthermore, keep in mind that this explainer serves purely as an informational guide to help you navigate the system. It is definitely not a substitute for professional legal advice. At the end of the day, public records exist for one big reason: to ensure accountability and transparency in our justice system. And now that you know exactly how to navigate this maze, knowing when it's best to search online and when you just need to walk right through the doors of the government center, how will you use this newfound access to uncover the truth and empower yourself? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and happy researching.